That's APB with Shoot You Down on That Modern Rock Show from 1981. And it was back in 1981 that song was heard on WFDU FM for the first time, also on WLIR and in clubs in and around the New York City area. And Iain Slater, singer and bassist for APB, is with us tonight on the phone from the UK. And apart from tending to APB matters, he's also working with the band Keen these days. But we've got him, and he's here. How you doing, Iain?
I'm fine, thanks. Yourself?
I'm doing good. We just played Shoot You Down, and if ever there was a song that broke APB in this area, that was it.
I believe so, yeah. It's a long time ago now, but 1981 I think it was. Started getting played in New York and stuff. We actually just did a video for it recently, actually in New Jersey, as it happens, in the Loop Lounge.
Yeah.
So a friend of ours called Chris Cassidy did it from New York, and hopefully it'll be available online at some point soon on the website and stuff.
Were you aware that you had a following in New York City?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what you mean back then?
Yeah.
Well, not until this guy who became a manager, he called us up and asked us to fill in for a band called a Belgian band who had just cancelled a tour, and said it was Shoot You Down was getting played in the clubs and stuff, like Danceteer and Peppermint Lounge and stuff like that. And so we came over and we didn't realise that people were playing the record, but it was a nice, pleasant surprise.
You mentioned the Loop Lounge in Passaic, New Jersey, and you guys were just there this past winter, right?
Well, actually, we played there last December. We came over for 4 shows. We got together after 15 years of Glenn had never picked up a guitar in 15 years. Quite funny. We had 3 rehearsals. And then we played the Loop.
Well, APB certainly had a string of classic records back in the 80s. You had Shoot You Down, Palace Filled with Love, What Kind of Girl, Summer of Love, Missing You Already. And these were all songs that you heard on WFDU FM. But also, you guys had success on the radio in Europe with John Peel, right? In
That's
Europe.
right, yeah. He got us down to do some sessions in 82, a couple of sessions in 82. Then we moved on to another Radio 1 DJ called David Jensen. We did a couple for him as well. There's actually a BBC Sessions album out.
Yeah, the BBC Sessions came out on the Young American label last year, right?
That's right, yeah. Well, it was 2005, I think it was.
2005, and then in 2006, the Something to Believe In compilation.
Oh, it was 2006, you're right, it was 2006.
And then you also had the 1985 compilation, Something to Believe In, came out.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. That was a few months before it.
And a lot of people were looking for that record. It was going online for exorbitant prices.
Yeah, I think the most expensive it got was $450 on Amazon.
Well, that's not surprising because it's been out of print, until this recent Young American reissue. I'll tell you what, APB, on my show anyway, are certainly one of the most popular bands and certainly one of the most requested bands. I mean, you're up there with Ultravox, Depeche Mode, Gang of Four.
I like to be lumped in with Gang of Four. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That can't be bad. Gang of Four was certainly one of the bands that influenced us a good deal in the early days, anyway.
I can still hear a bit of Gang of Four influence on the new record too. In fact, it sounds on the new record. It sounds like you just picked up where you left off.
But most of the songs on the new record are songs we actually wrote in the 80s. I mean, wrote really early on, so we just never had a chance to record them before. And they were always considered, but we never used them. So it was good to actually get them down.
Well, I'll tell you, and I'm not saying this just because I have you on the phone with me right now, but this new record is really, really good. And if someone wants to get it, how do they get it through your website?
Yeah, it's called 3. It's available through our website, which is apbtheband.com, and also a MySpace page.
So that's apbtheband.com. Now, how did this come about? All these years later, the 3 of you getting together and recording this new record.
Well, it was about a year before it was just after the Young American label put out the 2 new CDs, and we were just getting some renewed interest through the MySpace page and stuff, and because they'd give it a bit of a push over there, and one of the guys from the label was then talking to the girl from the knitting factory, and she happened to have an APB T-shirt on. So she just said, "Do you fancy? We'd love to have you come over and do some gigs." So I phoned up Glenn and George and just said, "How do you fancy getting back together?" and going over. You know, they offered us some, like, a good night of the week, and and we thought, well, you never know, it might be good. So they took some time off work. We had a couple of rehearsals, and went over and did it, and had a blast for a couple of weeks. We might even do it again. Well, you never know.
And from there, you decided to go back into the studio and record this new album, 3.
But I've got a studio in my house, so we just came down. They came down. I live at the other end of the country now. I live on the south coast of England, and they both came down and stayed for 2 or 3 weeks, and we just got on with it. And then they left, and I just finished it all off myself. So it was all completely done by ourselves, from start to finish.
I hear a lot of your sound in other bands nowadays, like bands like The Rapture, Franz Ferdinand. I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, you must be flattered to some degree, right?
I suppose so, yeah. It's quite nice. I mean, I'm not sure if any of these bands have heard of us. I bumped into Franz Ferdinand, actually, in Portugal, of all places, in a hotel, and I got talking to them, and they'd said they'd only just heard of us the previous week, so I don't know if it was true or not, but...
Well, that's odd. Well, you seem to be drinking from the same well.
Well, indeed.
I would have thought for sure that they would have been big fans of yours. Well, they probably are now.
Well, that was just one of them anyway, but I don't know whether the rest of them were the same. But, they seem like nice guys anyway.
Well, listen, Ian, it's been great talking to you. Once again, apbtheband.com is their website. They have a MySpace page as well. And the new album's 3. It's really, really good. We're going to hear something from it in just a bit. And next time we have you on the show, we should try to get you here in person next time you're in the States.
That'd be great. I seem to remember being there a long time ago. The name rings a bell.
You may have. You may have. All right, we're going to hear something from the new APB record. It's called 3. Once again, I'll tell you, this is a really, really good album. We're going to hear a song called Free Again. Thanks, Ian, for being on the show.
Okay, thanks very much.
How could I be so